Hello sir, Assalamu alaikum. My name is Rafid bin Nasim and my registration number is 2021 331 Today I will be presenting an overview of the chapter on consumers' behavior. Due to the time constraint of under 10 minutes, I will briefly touch upon all the key topics while providing a detailed explanation of the income consumption curve, as I have made significant contribution to this topic. So, utility and choice. Utility refers to the satisfaction or pleasure a consumer derives from consuming goods or services. Consumer choice is based on maximization utility given their budget constraint. So here are some examples of utility and choice. So now we come to the topic naming cardinal versus ordinal utility. So what is cardinal utility? Cardinal utility can be measured in numbers. But on the other hand, ordinal utility cannot be measured, but only ranked in order of preferences. Like for cardinal utility, saying a burger provides 50 units and pizza gives 80 units. We can measure it in numerical number, but for the ordinal utility, a person prefers pizza over burger but cannot quantify how much more satisfaction it provides. So, after cardinal utility and ordinal utility, we have given some examples and some definitions. So now we come to total utility and marginal utility. Total utility is the total satisfaction from consuming a given quantity of goods. On the other hand, marginal utility, the additional satisfaction from providing consuming one more unit of a good. So this means marginal utility is the additional satisfaction that comes. So here are a graph. So here we can see on the top graph, the graph is slowly decreasing. This shows us that the total utility decreases. But how a total utility decreases? Because of the marginal utility at this point it gets negative. That's why total utility decreases, because total utility is the sum of marginal utility. So now the question, why marginal utility decreases? So here are a mathematical expression of marginal utility. It is the slope of total utility. So now the question, why marginal utility decreases? So here we have more graphs on total utility and marginal utility. So this graph is important. This shows that at this point the total utility increasing at increasing rate. That means total utility is increasing at this time, but after the point of inflection the total utility decreases rapidly. So here is the point, we will say it is increasing but at decreasing rate, because the marginal utility is at this point is decreasing. So the total utility increases but at decreasing rate, and at this point it decreases because the marginal utility gets negative after this point. I am currently using my hands, so the points will not be exact at the point. So the marginal utility is exactly 0 at this point. I have shown a little down. So it is almost the same graph. So now the question comes, why marginal utility decreases? So here we comes on the law of diminishing marginal utility. As a consumer consumes more units of good, the additional utility derived from each extra unit decreases. That means the more you consume the product, the marginal utility decreases per consumption. So here we have some mathematical expression. I am not going in details because uh, the time is short. So now comes consumers equilibrium. A consumer reaches equilibrium when they allocate their income in a way that maximizes their utility given their budget. So, how to show this in a graph? Now the indifference curve and budget line comes along. What is indifference curve? It shows different combination of two goods that provide the same level of utility to a consumer. Whereas budget line represent all possible combinations of goods a consumer can afford given their income and prices. So I'm not going in details of all these topics, so here because I'm going to explain another topic. Okay, so here are some mathematical expression of this. So now the topic comes. So income consumption curve path. To start, I will present a conscious analysis of three important economic concepts: the income consumption path, the relationship between income and the consumption, and the derivation of consumer demand curve. This concept help us understand how consumer behavior responds to changes in income and price levels. Let's begin with the income consumption path. So, what is income consumption path? The income consumption path illustrates how a consumer's optimal consumption bundle changes as their income increases while prices remain constant. So here we can see a graph. The graph shows three different ice curves in indifference curve. Sorry. Uh, so the graph shows three different indifference curve: IC1, IC2, and IC3. So as income increases, the consumer moves to a higher indifference curve. So here green to red, and then consumer consuming more of both goods. The budget line shift outwards. The ICC curve, the income consumption path curve is the locus of these equilibrium points, showing the direction of consumption changes. The equimarginal principle shows that mu1 divided by p1 is equals to mu2 equals to p2. Okay, sorry for the handwriting, I am trying to write with my hands in a mobile phone. So where the key points from here is when income rises, the consumption of normal good increases. The equilibrium point moves along the ICC, but equimarginal principle remains valid. So after this, here is the equation I have written earlier. So after this, we come to relationship between income and consumption. This slide examines how consumption changes with varying income levels. So, sorry for the inconvenience. Here the x-axis represents the quantity of a good consumed, and the y-axis represents income levels. Here the blue line shows the locus of all consumption levels of good x for different income levels. For normal goods, consumption increases as income increases. Here we can see the consumption increases while the income increases, and for inferior goods the consumption decreases as income decreases. Luxury goods shows a steeper positive slope, meaning consumption rises significantly with income growth. So what are the key takeaways? It is inferior goods see a decline in demand as income increases. Normal and luxury goods see an increases in demand with higher income, and this relationship is crucial for predicting market behavior. So, after this, here are some mathematical expression that this is a new topic which is derivation of consumer demand curve. So here the mathematical expression is m is equal to p1 x1 plus p2 x2. I will come in details in the graph. So what is the meaning? Here we can see as the p1 increases, my mistake, as if p1 decreases while p2 remains constant, the budget line pivots outward. So here we can see the budget line pivots outwards, and the top graph shows the shift through different indifference curve. The bottom graph depicts the derived demand curve which slopes downward, reflecting the law of demand. So what are the key observations? A decreases price increases quantity demand. The demand curve shows how a price changes affect consumption. Okay, so in summary, the income consumption path explains how consumption changes with income. The income consumption relationship determines how different goods react to income shifts, and the demand curve illustrates how consumption behavior adjusts the price fluctuations. These insights are fundamental to understanding consumers' choices and market dynamics. Okay, now we come to water diamond paradox. So, what is water diamond paradox? The paradox of value explains why necessities like water are inexpensive while luxury goods like diamonds are costly. Water is abundant, so its marginal utility is low, making its price low. On the other hand, diamonds are scarce, so their marginal utility is high, leading to a high price despite providing less overall satisfaction. As a real life example, here is a equation that shows the relationship between the marginal utility price in water diamond paradox. So here we can see that the marginal utility decreases as quantity consumed increases. Okay, so a real life example is a person stranded in a desert would trade a diamond for a bottle of water, but in a marketplace, diamonds are far more expensive due to their rarity and desirability. Thank you for your attention. We hope you enjoyed. Thank you.